What's up, buds? Welcome to WeeDnD, the pod-positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am your dungeon master, Brandon Allen McClenahan, but you can call me Bam, or that dude, or like, hey guy with the cup that he smoked some weed out of just now. Any of B, people have called me B in the past. I'm fine with any of that. Call me whatever you want, just call me. You know what I'm saying? Let me take a little sip out of my sweet pipe cup that was provided by the great Stephanie McHugh for us this evening. Anyway, woo! Welcome to the party, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're live on Twitch, if you're watching us after on YouTube, we love you guys. The Bud community is growing every day. Definitely come check us out. We've got a Facebook group where we like to drop our fire memes and hang out and make pot D&D jokes and just have a good time. That's the Facebook group is called the WeeDnD Hub. Head on down there, check it out. Thank you guys for all of your support. Last week was nuts. It was absolutely one of the most exciting episodes of this show we have had, and that is all because of the audience. You guys are the best part of this thing, and we thank you so much.
Hop aboard the hype train!
Hype train, that's right, Isaac. Last week we had a hype train. Sorry, I've got to say it one time for every level of the hype train. If you weren't here last week, we blew that Twitch hype train out of the water with all our amazing subscriptions and cheers and emotes. And you guys, man, it was so freaking sweet. We love you. It helps us. Your support helps us run this beast. Keep it going. It grows as much as we can keep it growing. And seriously, every time you guys kind of help us out with donations and subscriptions and stuff, we get to then take that and put it right back into this show. So thank you so much. I can't wait to build this thing with all you guys. And we just love what we're doing. And we can't wait to show it to you the way we want to with everybody in the room. And I'm telling you, I can't wait to just have you guys see what these amazing live performers are like when they're all getting high off each other's weed and energy. So speaking of this amazing cast, they're making faces at me right now. So I am gonna throw it to them because I like to see my people. You know what? I'm doing it with the cup this week. I'm gonna tap this bad boy, and through the power of the internet, it will transform to whatever piece Brenna has. Brenna Folger, how you doing, girl? Woo.
Hi, buds. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun last week, you guys. That was amazing. Swiggity spooty, I'm coming for that Malachite Mountain booty. And I'm gonna pass this one over to my lady, Abby.
Ooh, enchanté. Sup, buds? Yeah, hype train. It was insane. I'm happy to be here. Abby Dandy reporting for duty. Tennis smooth hands, ready to get some stuff done today. Passing it on to Drew.
Thanks, baby girl. What's up, buds? Gus, the chosen of the Rocker. Just took over a village, y'all. Pretty sweet. We'll see what happens. There's some sort of sacrifice I gotta make for these guys. I would do anything. And I'm so glad you're here with us. Thank you for all your love and support. Best friend, come on in, best friend.
Oh, 10-4 there, best friends. Thank you much. And what's up, buds? Jake Taylor back at it as Rial Akravan, Arcane Trickster Rogue. You know what? We love you buds in chat so much, and we listen with our ear holes. And there might be a little costume action tonight, so we shall see. But while I inflate my jetpack, let's finish things off with Gus.
Appreciate that, Jake. What's up? I'm Gus Langley. I'm also Divot. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm still a little fucked up from last week. So please bear with me. I'm just gonna sit over here and try to look pretty while B explains everything. All right? Here you go, man.
Oh my gosh, it changed again. The internet is powerful magic. All right, guys, well, we've got ourselves a little ritual that we like to do around here. Maybe you've heard about it. Maybe you haven't. If you haven't, you're going to take that. Well, I guess even if you have, either way, fucking just take a lighter. You're going to hold it up in the air like this, just like those sexy cast members of mine are doing, and even Isaac's handling in studio. You're going to take that bad boy, prep him up, put him right in front of you, and go. Lighters up. Let's play some fucking D&D, guys.
WeeDnD, high fantasy, literally for you and me. So load up bowl and make a roll to take control. WeeDnD,
guys, we are back. We are changing up the format of the WeeDnD show a little bit. If it didn't feel like we were starting this up enough like a real D&D game, so in legacy to the great lineage of Dungeons & Dragons, I myself have been a player for 27 years. Your standard game starts a little bit more like this, and that's how we're going to do it now. So, hey, guys, what happened last?
So much.
I own a village now, so that's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah,
I'm like the owner.
Dorcas owns a village. Tina ran into some problems with an ex.
Yeah,
Family I don't know about.
Yeah. I attempted
a man
to
on
free
fire?
Mithra, and that went really badly.
What killed a guy?
Yeah,
Yeah, how did you get a grenade?
I don't know.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Jake.
Real is doing a thing.
Yeah. Real's doing that weird shit that he wanted to do.
You know why?
Yeah.
I support it, because he's got a friend in me.
Darn tootin'.
Darn
There's a
tootin'.
Jake in my boots.
There's
God
a Jake in your
damn it.
boots.
I think we could do a Randy Newman thing for our music, but I'll have to
sweet.
talk to our man Sandy Stein about that one. So,
You can do
no.
Story about a crocodile. His name was Brian.
So yeah, that's true. So some of the big key events, you've got Drew playing Thoricus in his small cowboy hat, for those of you watching. And if you're listening, Drew is now wearing a small cowboy hat that doesn't quite fit his giant head. So, Drew Thoricus Onyxheart has been chosen by the Raka, this deity of sorts that is worshipped by the Burakan people. And he has received the blessing of the Raka after his showdown with Malka the Fury over the cave of, not the cave, but the pit of the Medusa.
Yeah.
And yes, Tina Smoothhands unfortunately was left in a magical state of delirium after her former lover, Mithra, I'm sorry, Mithra
Mithra bitch
Willow Song is her last name.
Willow
Mithra
Song, that's
Willow
hot.
Song managed to betray you, tricking you into first getting her out of her prison cell, and then showing some of her darker side as her eyes turned dark and her skin cracked, and she claimed to be using the power of Sithis, antagonist of the group. Shith-
And she left me there frozen
yes.
in the prison.
In the prison.
And we
on
found
the-
you after we were getting, Gus Divot was getting us high just by being around. And
A
so
30-foot
you
wave
found
of
too.
intoxication emanates from your glamour bar Divot as a fusion of the two drugs that he imbued, the South Rock
Jubu
mushrooms
juice.
from his
Jubu
gnome
juice.
home, and as well as the Jubu juice, the powerful psychedelic of the Burakan people.
Oh yeah.
It's called
Yeah,
Dick
and you
Whipping.
came and found me, and I am getting a little intoxicated from you guys, and I'm riding the waves, and I'm trying to explain to you what's happening, and I realize that Rial seems to be overcome or touched by the energy of Sithis. And
Correct. Through your
That was
It was
dream.
my face, my
Me
face
too.
on the vision body.
In your vision that was planted on you during your darkness,
I
you
just know
indeed
it's gonna fall
saw
off when I
Sithis'
put my mouth
form
to.
transform into something a little closer to Rial's. And when his mask was pulled away, his shadowy mask, the face of Rial Othravan was shown. So, some strange prophecy happening. Speaking of prophecy, the five also managed to meet up with a fortune teller, a friend of theirs who Divot had battled in a drum battle, Ubre the Calloused, the head
Yeah.
shamanasta. Yes, and she had some stuff for each of you guys. What'd she say?
Well, so she told Thoricus that he's gotta make a sacrifice.
Right. Yeah. And
very
then I
vague
asked her what that was, and then she was like, "Nah, son."
She's like, Jesus, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, "No, I want to get to your cute best friend over there." And I was like, "Well, that happens a lot." So.
It's like when you talk to the one at the Wimple.
She told me that I would return home someday, but I wouldn't be able to leave it. So I assume that means that if I go back to Elmira, I probably will end up dying there, maybe.
You know, if
Turn
her
into a
if her
statue.
prophecy is to be believed, you know, simple clouds of smoke coming from the fire may
Brenna, she
foretell
told
some
me
things.
that I had family close by, which is obviously bullshit. So I don't know if we can believe
Right.
anything this lady says.
I
You're
mean,
right.
I call you brother, but we're not brothers.
Yeah. I mean, unless Bruno and I are secretly related, like
Well,
I don't know.
That's
We
what
don't know
Divot
that.
took from it. Divot was like, somebody in my family is close. Got to be the sea elf, the blue
I
one.
was-
Yeah, see ya.
Who knows why I declined to have my fortune told? You
no,
know.
it was just that I was standing next to him, so he was like the closest thing. And he just looked at me.
Yeah, I look right at you like,
I'm like,
Yes, that's true. And Rial also had a bit of a dark message foretold for you. Do you recall what that was?
I do. Apparently, my destiny is the destiny of us all. Not sure how specific. It's just the five or the world. We shall see.
the chat.
The chat?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
God.
Rial Othravan's destiny decides the destiny of chat. Lord of Lost Time, beware.
Speaking of Lord, after this fortune was told, the visage of Scythisus came out and outstretched a hand to me. Everything started fading, and just the hand lingered, and then it too vanished.
And a
In
great
green
magical
energy.
burst.
I'm not sure the significance of green energy. Divot had blue. Mine was green.
Yeah. Maybe some kind
I
of
don't
Power
remember
Rangers
the color
thing.
of mine.
Ooh.
Mastodon.
That's it. We've changed. We're going full Power Rangers this week.
Love it.
I want to be Tommy.
And then we did some shopping after
We
that.
did.
True. You met my favorite merchant in the world.
Oh god,
Ugh.
it's
Fellow
disgusting.
halfling.
Hapoko or whatever his
Hapoko.
name.
Let's be honest, that dude is a holeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The very large halfling merchant who peddled you guys some fair wares. Thoricus had a little conversation with him about the change from Ubaru, which seemed to surprise him a little bit, and he kind of agreed to go talk with
Yeah.
him when the people go that way. You know, you had talked
was
about
very
kind of sending
persuasive.
some of them as guards for the people at the refugee camp.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
then I
pretty good.
passed off the basically. Oh, see, it's not gonna work, guys. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
the head's
put it
too
down.
big.
It's just too big.
It's just
Hey,
too-
I'm sorry.
Him
It's just-
We actually have 4 cameras on Drew right now. It's-
it's technical issues, baby.
He's
That's
being
how we roll.
projected in 3D.
Oh, this.
We have one
We're
Skype
gonna do
feed
an
just for
auction
Drew's
and
head.
get to watch an episode on Drew's head.
Whoa.
All right, so yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and then I was gonna pass on the teachings of the Stone Reavers and try to have the big bugbear
Toko.
Toko.
Yes. Toko, the hatchet. You
My
passed
mofo.
along the axe that we have grown so
the axe
fondly of.
formerly known as Lucille.
Oh.
He stepped up.
The axe it's now just a picture. The artist formerly known as Lucille.
Right.
Yes, and
And,
Toko the hatchet accepted it and seemed to kind of revel in this new form of leadership. He admitted, if you recall, that Malka was kind of like a father to him, so he was ostensibly being groomed to be the Grand Goro anyway. And you, supplying the writ of the Stone Reavers, one of your last possessions, have imbued these kind of lost, rambunctious group of mercenaries toward
You
a
gave
kind
him
of
a weapon too, didn't you?
Purpose. Yeah. Well, I gave him the axe formerly known as Lucille.
Exactly.
What?
Because Lucille isn't the axe. Lucille is the charm that I have from the love that I will never see again. It's a little onyx heart pendant
Whoa. Is that so?
that was intended for one of the girls in the village that I was exiled from. So
Best friend.
let's keep talking about that because that makes me
Oh.
come.
Whoa.
Okay,
Well,
great.
we should talk about it in game. I want to ask you
Yeah,
your
in
character.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah,
bleed
we'll
over?
save that. So, all right, guys. Pretty much, yeah. After the fortune teller, we had one minor event, and I will kind of take that back over, and we will begin our sesh. So, if you will recall, when last we left the Ferocious Five, they stood. Tina Smoothhands was standing in a makeshift church tent to the south in the town of Buraka. She was attempting to pray to her god, Theris Dune. And in this exchange, she felt the magical energy that she calls upon, the crackling, the yellow energy, crackled as she tried to send a prayer of thank you and reverence to her god. She heard back from her god a repeated message that now she's heard a few times, saying that Tharizdun is angry with her, and that these crackles in her magic may be related, and that there is a sacrifice that he is demanding her to make. It didn't specify what kind, but that there is a sacrifice that she must make to repay him. So Tina, if you recall, just as this big, powerful energy, crackling yellow energy starts bursting off of all the candles around you, you turned and looked back, and you saw the sky start to turn a dark purple color, almost as in the vision that you'd had before. We switch back to the other four of you standing out in Buraka proper. It's Buraka proper. That's fun to say. Standing in Buraka, you actually bear witness to this spectacle. So, you're all kind of getting ready to go, putting your various odds and ends that you've purchased onto the cart. You see Brian the crocodile, who has broken off one of the doors to get out. Seems to kind of know the drill now. He's kind of holding him, his big giant 10-foot crocodile, happy-go-lucky self, who still has the dragon wings cutely pinned to his back from the catch of catch the greased up dragon game from before. So you see he's sitting there, chewing on a couple little bit of grass and flowers nearby the cart, just kind of waiting for you guys to do your thing. Divot, you're kind of going, looking over your shoulder to make sure that Hopoko doesn't remember the arrows, or doesn't notice the arrows that you stole from his store. If you recall, you pilfered a.
Honestly, I forgot I even did that.
I knew we were trying to get him. I didn't remember that he stole them though. So
yes, he got one. He got one of them. So Rial purchased
I
one.
got one.
And Divot stole one. So yeah, Divot, you're kind of doing the stealing man's walk as you kind of go out, and you all feeling the sun again. Even though you long rested, nighttime is no longer a reality. Your long rests, you don't feel like you're getting great rest because the sun has been frozen in the same space since the great druid Achaeus, caused the cataclysm that kind of started the beginning of this.
How long ago was that? Like actual? I'm just kind of curious.
What was that?
How long ago was that in actual game time?
So in game time, so again, you guys don't actually, as a party, have a means of tracking time, but varying, you can take your best guesses, as it were. But you would think probably a week, maybe a week and a half ago. I know it's weird that spanned 2 months of D&D playing time, but that's it's with our 2-hour format. We actually spend several episodes per day.
But it's also arguably earlier today because the sun hasn't come down at all.
Exactly. Yeah, time is kind of a weird thing, and as I kind of explained in the Tillmore refugee camp, you're experiencing the same thing in Buraka. People are more often than not agitated. Nobody's getting a lot of really good rest. And so tensions, you're seeing small brawls and fights break out over pretty commonplace issues. Some guy's cart bumps into a guy's tent and the dude just comes out flying off the handle, swinging first. There's just this general vibe. Now, so far the five have consistently relieved that tension through this magical energy that you create when you've engaged in some of these downtime activities. Divot's big performances tend to have that. If you recall, even just a group laugh amongst you guys previously had this wave that went out through the city. And so for some reason, the energy that's kind of tainting the world around you, it's held off from you guys a little bit. You find yourself still sleeping well. Your long rests, are still... they still provide you the full rest required to get your spells back and your hit points and everything. You're not suffering that extra layer of exhaustion, but it's still, the sun is always in the same spot, except for this very moment.
And now the town is hungover.
Yeah,
Shit.
Exactly.
Wait, it's changing right now.
You're looking around at the kind of the state of Buraka right now, and it is very much one at the end of a long day of partying. You see shamanastas with their braided hair, just passed out over their drums that are tipped over on the side. You see barrels of broken mead with hatchet strikes from, eager people not ready to wait for it to be tapped, that just cut into the side of the barrel and, sucked from the burst that came forth. You just see people all over the place. There's a small group, maybe 12 people that seem to have held it together enough and are following Toko in some of these new battle preps of the Stone Reavers. But for the most part, I would say, the other 68 people that live in this town are assed out, just passed out in various states of disarray, over benches rather than laying on them, in the grass, in the dirt.
It's
nobody.
like the morning after the party in heavyweights.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yup.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a new weed and stuff is funnier to me tonight. And heavyweights is the best.
Jake's wings are fucking killing me.
Jake with the wings. Whew,
Keep
all right.
forgetting, and then I look over
You
and
know
I'm
what
like,
this-
oh,
That'll do it. All right, so you guys are looking around, like I said, getting ready for this thing to leave, and then suddenly you feel this great cold wind start building up. This is different than the Raka. When you felt the Raka before, it felt like a warm wave that washed over you as the wind kind of helped support you and lift you up. This wind has that cold, dank feel of the Murkwood. You remember that cold chill and that smell of death that kind of carries
that
in, that
place.
rotten old moss and just really the smell of decay. As this breeze comes through, you all kind of, cover your mouth as you start smelling the smell of rotting flesh and stagnant bog pools. And you look up in the sky, and these great dark purple and black clouds seem to appear from nowhere. They start forming over the city and blighting out all the light, including the light from the sun. In an instant, the whole world goes down several tints of color as you feel this strange tension, this cold chill of death kind of isolating and running around your body. You look forward and you see the temple that Tenna had gone to, that you respectively let her go by herself so she could pray. You see the entire temple start shaking. And these big cracks of yellow magical golden energy, similar to what you've seen Tenna harness before, begin shooting out the corners of this temple. You see the great wooden poles that stick up, the sharpened wooden poles that build up the outside of the tent, start shaking and breaking away from themselves. And suddenly the side structure of this church begins falling down. Tenna, you're in the church and you're witnessing this surging energy crackling around you. You're trying to reach out your hand and harness this energy. You're familiar with this magic. This is your magic that's shooting out all around you that you seem unable to control in this moment. And you see as these great bursts of this yellow energy start blowing great splinters of wood off the supports of the tent. You kind of turn and look, and you see as the back side of the tent starts collapsing entirely. The great rows of lit candles from people that had said their prayers to their various spirits and gods start being, put out by this great fabric dropping down as you see the claws and hooks that, decorate the corners of these, the city of Buraka falling down in great heaps around you. You kind of turn and you see the door in front of you as the thing kind of starts collapsing around you. Do you want to, try to run out?
Yes.
I also want to try to run towards this.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes.
See if I can help. Yeah.
Well, this is all kind of happening at the same time. So yes, Tina, go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw as the building that you're in begins collapsing on you. Camera switches over to you guys, and you see this great explosion, and a splinter of wood bursts out the back. As the top of the tiered top of this tent starts falling down. Clearly, Tina, you all start rushing over there. Tina, what did you get on your 14? All right, so you didn't save. It was a 15. You take 3 bludgeoning damage, but you do manage, just as you reach the end, you kind of jump out. And you guys on the other side, as you begin, sorry, let me kind of move you over there, running over toward the tent that she's at. As it falls, you see this great plume of dust, and just as the last of the tent fabric falls, you see Tina reaching out, and a couple logs fall on her legs. She calls out. Suddenly all the bursting energy stops. The clouds in the sky still dark and purple. It's actually the first taste of anything even close to nighttime that you guys have felt in this week long. You know, for a moment, you can't help but feel like the strangeness of it not being so bright. Tina, you just cough out some dust. Your hand sticking out of the tent. You look up and you see the faces of the four. What do?
Can I get up?
Yes. So the logs, you did well enough. You only failed by 1. So you did well enough in your dexterity save to like get out. You're not buried, but your legs, currently you have like a big log on your leg, and you can just kind of like wriggle your foot free and get out. So
I run over and help her. I want to help her. I would we'll pull the logs off and help her out.
Awesome. So yeah, you guys, you see Brunor,
I'm strong as fuck, so I can just
Thoricus and Brunor, your two, beefiest allies, start going right to the pile and lifting these logs. You at this point, all that lays on you is the weight of the fabric, and you see, as Rial and Divot kind of handle that. And Tina, you easily stand up and get out. Yeah. But there is this great kind of like confusion. You look around, and the few people that are awake are just staring at the sky, and you see them start scuttling back to their tents. They're kind of terrified. They feel the same cold chill that you do. This massive change of magic, and their belief in the Raka. This unnatural phenomenon has set the town on fire. You guys, kind of look around as people waking up from their hungover states, just like look up at the sky and feel the darkness on their skin for a moment, and then freak out a little bit, start backing up and running off to their tents to find their families or, their things. You see everybody kind of just starts getting up and running away, the ones that are conscious. You see Toko turns, and he looks up in the sky, he looks at you guys and kind of brandishes his axe toward you, and he runs toward the tent of Ubre the Calloused, but he seems to give you like a, I know what's up, I'll go handle this, you guys, do your thing. He's ready to take the role of Grand Goro and lead his people in this moment. So you see he kind of runs off to attend to that. And you guys are left mostly alone right now. Like Buraka, the city square around the pit and everything, has mostly cleared out. So you guys stand there, you are, Tina, you're looking around, you see the clouds in the sky, and just for a moment, you try drawing on that magical power in your hand. Psst, you get a little crackle, but it does come through. Your hand glows with a gold color, and then stops. But you still, you haven't lost your ability to use magic. I just wanted to clarify so that didn't get lost in the narrative. But you do seem to be having some trouble accessing it.
Okay.
That's not good.
Tina, what happened in there?
Yeah.
We have to get out of here, friends. I don't have a severed connection with Tharizdun, but something is blocking my connection to my god, and I know exactly what it is, but
what is it?
You can't just say that and not tell us.
Right.
I don't like to talk about my feelings.
None of us do. That's kind of why we all together, I think.
When Tharizdun gifted me the power to slay the Medusa, that's what it was for. It was to slay the Medusa, not to save Divot. And he demands a sacrifice.
I think that's a really reasonable request.
That's a really reasonable request. What's the sacrifice?
I don't know. I'm afraid to ask.
Well, let's just start sacrificing stuff.
I was gonna say, it looks like if you don't ask, like more temples are gonna
I'm looking around to see if there's any red shirts, like people that we don't really know.
I mean, laying around on the ground, there certainly is like just mercenary number 3. Like laying over. If you woke him up and asked him what his name was, he has one. But
no, I don't want to know his name.
I don't think it's that kind of sacrifice, though.
But we just could.
You see Brian suddenly like uncomfortable, looking up at you guys.
No.
I don't think that would be that's a weird step. That's a really weird step for us to go.
Right, that was a test. You guys passed.
Best friend test.
I'm so glad all 5 of us didn't want to start doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Never.
So.
That cold wind builds a little bit.
All right, yeah, let's get out of this.
I just think we should go to the Malachite Mountains. I think there are the answers.
I agree.
I like answers, so yeah.
I
don't really care, so let's do it.
Okay. So we start heading back to the horse boards, and I want to load Brian into the carriage.
All right, so you take your thick wiggly boy, and through the broken door that he managed to, that's how he escaped. He bursts off the door, as illustrated in the life of Brian. Yes, so there is a broken door laying next to him, but he manages to kind of prop most of himself up this time. It doesn't seem like you're gonna have to grease him up like you did last time. He seems to know the drill now and managed through his wiggling to kind of widen. You see the wood around the door kind of bent a little bit to accentuate his thick wiggly frame.
He broke it in. It's a little more comfy this time.
He broke it. That was a long way of. That was the Tolkien way of saying he broke it.
Okay, so he broke it.
Yes. So. So you guys managed to load up your carriage. You see the wind, starts blowing. Those of you with freed hair, it starts kind of blowing in your face a little bit. It seems to be coming from all directions. You're looking around, kind of getting ready to go and head off toward the only destination that you know of, and suddenly that same cold chill, all at the same time, shoots up all 5 of your spines. That cold, dark feeling that accompanied the nightmares that you each witnessed during the feast and the festival. And each of you starts hearing this cacophony of laughter in your minds. Rial, you hear the hot, breathy laugh of Ergon. Brunor, you hear the cry and call of Exonius, the great shadow dragon. Tinna, you hear the dark, sinister laugh of your father, Shren Oldbuck. You hear a whir of all kinds of laughter that doesn't even seem to, take up the same space as anything you've heard before. Laughter that you can't even, explain the sounds. It's that you've never heard these voices before. They continue echoing from the sky. You all start looking up. Thoricus, you hear that same voice of Beckus Grumblehelm. I'm in the Murkwood, boy. It blows past your ears. You look north toward the Murkwood, and growing in a great shadow building on the horizon, just past the wooden gates of Buraka, across the road that you guys came through, you see these building shadow clouds, similar to the ones that block the sky, are growing off of the tops of the trees of the Murkwood. And in that shadow, you swear you see the silhouetted outline of the body of your murdered former mentor, Beckus Grumblehelm. It's like a great shadow, almost like in The Lion King. He reaches out to you, and then you see the shadows consume him. Switching over to you, Brennor, you're looking in the sky, and you see as these swelling clouds of shadows grow wings. As this great shadow dragon begins building its way out of the forming mass of clouds before you. Tinna, you look on in fear as you see Shren Oldbuck's twisted face, the one you now know is sadistic and enjoys torturing and selling people into slavery. You see him smiling at you. You almost couldn't remember his face, but there it is in the shadow of the clouds. Each of you, Divot, you look up into the sky and you see the face of Martha, fading away once more. At first, the complete outline of her face, and then you see the shadows drawing back on the skin, on the edges of her soft, kind face, her green eyes overwhelmed by the black, shadowy energy as she fades into the darkness. Rial, you see Ergon as he was before you saw him last, when his ghostly visage. You see your tormentor of 7 years, the wizard that kept you in captivity and tested his magics on you, and that sick, black, twisted smile that sits under his twisted goatee. You see that face building in the shadows, each of you witnessing your own nightmares, but not each other's. What do you do?
I look back at everybody and I go, you guys, these clouds are making me feel feelings. I need to go over there and investigate.
You guys see Brunor.
That's where you all wanted to go? Where the stuff is coming from?
I have to go.
I have to go too.
We were
What?
talking about the Malachite Mountains, but it
This
seems
is.
that we have a lot of demons to face here in the
I
Murkwood.
have to face this. I need to know.
Can we get to the mountains and not go through the scary woods?
So yes, just to fill in geographically is the word that has been used probably for much longer than I just butchered it. Geographically, Yes, the road that you guys were on, if you'll recall on your little map that Ubaru had made you, that road continues all the way to the east, to the Malachite Mountains. He did also mention that going through the Murkwood is a little shorter, that it's a more direct path. But last time you guys left the Murkwood, you were having some pretty crazy thoughts happening, and so you seemed, pretty happy to stay out of there at the time. But yes, just to answer your question, Divot, the road indeed you could bypass the Murkwood entirely.
On second thought, let's bypass the Murkwood.
You see the swelling clouds growing. Each of you, your nightmares getting larger and larger, flashing in and out of the black shadows.
Yeah, I'm just tired of this shit. I just want to end these nightmares that I keep getting from this place, and I have to know if that really is my old general. And I feel like we need to go at least investigate.
Thoricus, mine is Martha, and Martha is dead as fuck, okay? I don't think that because they're in the thing, it means that they're secretly all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to go with it.
And I don't want to face mine, okay?
As the shadows continue growing, Thoricus, you feel that whisper again in your mind. I'm in the Murkwood, boy.
I know.
Look, if we gotta, we gotta, but...
Can we come back? No.
Let's not look for trouble, though. Let's just go through the Murkwood as fast as we can, and if problems get solved, then fine. But I'm just trying to get...
Okay, deal. We'll do that. So we're not bypassing the Murkwood. We're going through it very quickly, but also
it is
giving
quicker.
it a once-over while we're going fast through it, so that we can at least look for some of the demons. That
And I am getting in the carriage with Brian.
That's fine. I'll be on the outside this time.
Can I get in there too? I don't want to see anything.
All right, so with Brian in there, there's 3 seats inside the covered carriage portion. So 3 of you could sit in there. It would be a little crowded. Your feet would be on Brian.
That's fine.
But you can.
He
You also
doesn't
have
mind.
4 horses to ride, as some of you did before. There's also a 3-person seat, at the front of the cart where the driver and the shotgun rider would ride.
I'll drive.
And we'll get inside.
I'll take a horse.
Tina goes
Hearse.
inside.
Hearse.
All right.
I'll drive. I got my animal handling.
Brunor takes up the driving role. Who all's going inside? Sorry, I just wanted to get that clear.
Tina.
Tina is going inside. Anybody else going inside the cart?
Divot.
Divot.
And Brian.
And Brian.
Right.
All right, so Rial, you're riding a horse. Thoricus, you riding shoddy?
Shoddy boom body.
Oh.
Like John Gotti.
Like John friggin' Gaudy.
John friggin' Gaudy.
All right. So this is just taking me a moment to get this scene before you.
Thanks for doing it. Looks cool.
I'm gonna try this.
Horse sport, guys.
Welcome back to the horse sport.
I missed it so.
Horse sport.
Yes, taking control of the horse board.
The rain.
You begin pushing your little hoopty cart, if you recall. It's a bit of a hoopty. Your hoopty cart starts, its rickety wheels kind of rolling on the red and brown earth. You guys, as you start kind of walking away, you're not sure you'll miss the harsh red and brown mud of the ground of Buraka. You start going toward the northern gate. If you'll recall, this entire city is surrounded by these large wooden sharpened posts of wood that was raised from the Morn wood. You see 2 great guard towers standing, that you came in through originally, and this is what you see.
Oh yeah.
As your cart, makes it through the covered wooden pole entrance, it barely fits through. Those of you on the outside, so those of you in the cart are not privy to this. You kind of like the horses kind of rear up on you a little, and stop at just this sight before you. You see several, at least 5 various bodies of the Burakan hunters that you had all seen go through the North Woods. You see them slaughtered in various states of disarray around. The first two, the two nearest you, let me kind of, oops, sorry, ping that for you. These guys, their skin has actually been completely flayed off. So you just see the musculature and skeletons and blood of the inside of these two Burakan mercenaries laying on the ground. Behind them, a couple that seem not to have been flayed, but stabbed and slashed. You see great wound marks across their faces. And as you pull up and the horses stop, the fireplace that was once full of, sticks and ash is now full of human hearts and heads. You see like 6 different heads in a pile of just like bloody disarray. All the heads have, insects and maggots are just kind of growing on them, falling, great life just spilling out of the severed cuts on these throats and heads. You see some brain matter kind of like gooing out of the severed eyes of some of them. Like all of these bodies were treated very, very badly. And as you kind of pay attention to this, you hear this great lumbering sound coming out of the Murkwood. And here you see, I'll ping him, you see an owl bear coming out, very thin and emaciated, not like the owl bear that you had seen on the road that ate that great magical stag, but this owl bear has brown fur and doesn't really blend in with his surroundings quite as well. And you see that the muscle and the skin hang tight on the bone. You remember the kind of more like a grizzly bear vibe previously. This bear looks like it's starving to death, and with its great magnificent owl beak and owl features, with its feathered bear skin and hide, with these great long hooks, you see as it kind of digs its claws into that red-brown into the kind of moist soil as it blends with the dirt of Buraka, clawing as it climbs forward and begins eating one of these bodies. You see it goes right for one of the flayed, skinned corpses on the ground, and its great sharpened beak makes short work out of taking huge scoops of muscle and just snapping right through bones and tendons. And you hear, those of you that are outside hear the great crunch and snap of this owlbear just munching down this body. It doesn't seem to be paying you any mind right now, but you can tell this thing is hungry and a wild creature. So you're all sitting there, Brunor, you've got the reins of the horse, gripped in your hand. You can feel them kind of pull against you. Thoricus, you're standing there, eyeing it quickly as a warrior would, looking for how you would get advantage in this particular battle, and combing through that Rolodex in your mind of weaknesses and various, have you ever fought an owlbear before? You haven't, but you've heard about them, and your battle master mind is just analyzing the way Sherlock does in a crime scene. Rial, you're closest to this owlbear. You feel your horse kind of lift up, and you rest your hand on it and kind of brush its hair to calm it down. And there's this terse silence as you're just watching this owlbear make very quick work of the entire corpse of this Burakan mercenary. Great blood staining its face, taking heaping bites. What do you do?
Can I do a sneak attack with my magic arrow?
Yeah, so it right now it's not paying you mind. If you, because you're a rogue, you can use your cunning action to hide. If you want to hop off the horse and kind of position yourself and take a +1 arrow shot at this owlbear, you certainly can.
Sure. Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do that.
All right.
Yeah, give him a good nod.
So go ahead and give me a stealth check. This is it's passive. It's not actively looking for you, but let's see if you hide beyond its perception. Owlbears, you've studied many creatures in your days, reading through the great tomes of the cloister of trees. And so you're familiar with owlbears, you're familiar with their habits, and so you're just kind of they have great keen smell and they can hear very well. So you kind of crouch down by your horse. Did you do give me a stealth check?
Sorry, the glove wasn't working on the mouse pad.
Actually, I'm sorry. Can you give me? So this is actually going to kind of be a big deal. Give me a stealth check, and this is going to be against his passive perception. If you succeed, it will be a crit. I'm just going to use that roll. So either you miss with a 9 AC, or you hit with a crit and it's a 27. So go ahead and give me a stealth check, and depending on that result,
so
boom, a
bad at
nice
stealth,
26,
I'm
which
gonna say
brings
that's
us
a
to
fact.
a
Yep.
crit hit. Ooh, first crit of the night. First crit hit of the night. Drop that emote if you got it. We like to take hits on crits around these parts. 5% chance to take a hit on every roll, and I like those odds. All right. So yes, Riao, you managed to, almost like you do in a crowd, you quickly shift in between the four horses, and you're convinced that even if it were to look over at you directly, it wouldn't see you. And from this shadow that you found yourself in, you take one of these gleaming arrows, one of these golden-tipped arrows that you have. I think the only one you have. I think Divot has the other one.
I just have
And you knock it on your bow, line up the sight, as a very proficient archer. You make your shot. You do manage to hit him. You used a +1 arrow, so it does an additional damage, and you crit. So roll one more d6 for me.
One more d6.
Yeah. So you've done 6 damage so far. Unfortunately, there was another one. So 7 damage. You line up your shot, let it go. You feel the quiver of the arrow just move so elegantly. A magical arrow imbued with actual magical properties. And you let it loose. It manages to stick right into the neck of the owlbear as it reaches down to take a bite. The great beast looks up angrily. It does take the full 7 damage. Boom. But you can tell, even though it's emaciated, it is still a rather strong creature. It lets out a great cry. The owl beak reaches open, and you see blood and guts just kind of spilling out of its half-open mouth as it lets out a great cry. Which will bring us to initiative. So, Riao, you started this one. We're still running with popcorn. Who would you like to pass initiative to?
Oh shit.
Rolling. Okay.
Best friend, you read me?
That's a
Rocky
big
Talkie?
more best friend.
Good old Rocky Talkies. Yeah, I'm passing it to Thorcus.
So,
it's a big
Thorcus,
pop.
you feel it, boom, burst over on you.
How, if I were to jump off the cart, could I make it over to him, or is it
So
just
this
outside?
this is actually to scale on this one. So you 5,
Okay.
let's see, you from where you are, 5, 10, 15, 20. You could actually, it's a big creature. It takes up all 4 of those squares. So you only need to
Okay.
get to that square. Yes, even with, and remember, you have shorter speed. I think you have a 25, but you could get there. I'll pull your tokens off of this mess. Go ahead and control your own tokens. I'll move you over there right now because it's easier. But I'll pull you guys kind
thanks.
of off the cart as we go. So yeah, Thoricus, you making quick. You were ready. You were so ready to have this happen. You saw Rial slide off, and you know what's up. You managed to jump almost as he releases the arrow. It shoots through the sky, and just before it strikes into his neck, your stout boots land on the ground. You feel the fury now that you've attuned with it move. Even though it's a 100-pound axe, it moves as it weighs barely half a pound. Your hand moves back out so strongly at first that it almost catches you off guard, and then you lock in. Ooh, it's time to test out a swing with this bad boy. You run. You see your feet step through some of the guts that are spilling out of this campfire. This grotesque sight. You just run right through it. Unfazed by dead bodies. You've seen quite a few in your day. Go ahead,
Bunch of dead
Thoricus.
bodies.
Come in tight.
So you know what? I didn't upgrade the great axe to a +1. I didn't know how to do that.
Let
I'm
me
so sorry.
double check because I think I may have foreseeing that.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I should remember, but let me double check. Thank you, Roll.
It just doesn't say it on the character sheet. That's
It does
why.
not. You are correct. Yeah, I don't think I made it a +1. So
I
yeah,
should've
here, I'm
checked.
just gonna drop this in for you. We'll change the name later, but we'll just do
Okay.
a great axe.
Hell yeah.
And again, cool thing about Roll20, I can just look that up and then drop it right on your character sheet. Not a sponsor, but hey guys, we're definitely open to that. All right.
I'm gonna fly out.
I will roll 20 J's for Roll20 in the days that we get sponsored
Say one.
by Roll20.
Say one.
Oh.
See what he did.
There it is. All right, so yes, Thoricus, I have now dropped the Great Axe +1 into your inventory.
Sure have.
Yes, and it did affect. Cool. I just wanted to make sure. So your first swing, Thoricus, you come up hitting a 12 AC, which is one short of its natural AC. You see you're still not used to fighting with this thing. You're attuned to it, but it moves so easily that you overcorrect. And you see the great axe just kind of gleam off the thick skin of this massive bugbear. It stands, it's about 10 feet tall on its back feet. Big, great beast, arrow sticking out of its neck. Your first glance bounces off, but you are a fighter of 5th level now, so you have a second attack.
Sure am.
Ooh, there it is.
There we
24 armor class. That's a hit. You didn't get any 2s or 1s on that. I just wanted to check for your great weapon fighting. Boom! That's a big 15 damage. So,
Draka.
So after your axe gleams off, the battle proficient, the Dreidel of Doom, as we like to call him, Thoricus, using the Stone Reaver battle tactic, you control that harnessed energy from your blade deflecting off the heft, and you let it carry you in a full 360 spin. And while you repivot, you grab the base, and you feel that little emblem, the emblem of Lucille, settle against your hand. You feel that purpose fill back into you. No longer are you fighting with the Fury. You're fighting with Lucille the Fury. It shifts in your hand, and you feel control. Wham! And you just blast the side of this owl bear, and the heft of the blade sticks right in its side. A great pool of blood shoots out from the thick fur, and not as much blubber there. You almost feel like you connect with a little bit of bone too. The beast shakes.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Yes, definitely. It is still going. Your axe slides out the side and some of the blood spills down. This beast seems to be in starvation mode and is not running away at your display of strength. So, Thoricus, unless you have anything else to do, you may pass initiative.
I will absolutely pass initiative to the bugbear, or the owlbear. Yeah, the owlbear.
All right, to the owlbear. A nice
what you got.
tactical move, if I might say, there, Thoricus. Knowing that you, more than anybody, are equipped to tangle the might of this owlbear, you channel the energy into him. You see the great beast. It looks down on you, and for a moment you connect with it. It's like you've been fighting so many evil things and evil creatures. This is just an animal. This owlbear is starving. You've been in the Murkwood. There's no animals for it to eat. And so it's like you can only you connect with this sense of kindness a little bit, but it's long gone. It's got that 1,000-yard stare and looks at you as a tasty morsel of meat. It comes at you with 2 attacks. One of them, its massive beak. You see it comes down as the sharp, yellow owl's beak comes at you. Boom, 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 and then he does it with the button click. Hitting a 25 AC, actually.
That one will get me.
Yeah, that's bugbears have a strength equal to your own, Thoricus. And you notice in this moment as this beak hits you, just the raw power of such a creature. Obviously, to survive at all in the Murkwood, you would have to be some kind of truly powerful creature. So that is a D10 plus 5. Ouch! You see the beak comes down, 12 damage. It bites into you, and you see, even through your armor, you see that the sharp owl's beak pierces like a tin can into your arm, and you feel as the sharp beak cuts into your arm a little bit of blood spills out. It then, now that it's kind of got you held in place, not tactically, just narratively, you see it follows up with a great swipe of its mighty claw. 22 AC.
That one also hits.
This dude is hot today.
I was gonna ask you if I could use my parry maneuver on either one of those.
Yes. So parry gives you. It's actually, what does parry give you? I get it mixed up with the other one.
If I don't know if that does it or not. Oh, if I do this, does it do it?
Yeah, there we go. When another creature damages you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction and expend a superiority dice to reduce the damage by that number. That is tight. Yes, you absolutely can do that. This is the claw is the real hitter, so it'll probably be
okay.
Unless I roll real bad. You can say it now. Do you want to try to parry the beak attack by using your reaction and one of your superiority dice? Do you want to do the beak or the claw? Because both hit you.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, if you say the claw's a hitter, I trust you.
Okay, so
let's do that.
So the beak lands true and hits you for that 12. So go ahead and roll your superiority dice. You will subtract that from 2d8 plus 5. He hits hard. Boom. So that is 6 plus 5, another 11 damage. So I believe your superiority dice now are what, D8s? I think they went up.
Is it my maneuver dice?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I've got 4.
Oh, you reduce it by the number of your superiority dice plus your dex modifier. So whatever you roll on your superiority die, so roll that. That will then get added to your dex modifier, and that will reduce the damage you took.
I can't for some reason click on it.
Okay.
It's.
What is it though? What D is it? I'll just roll it for you. Is
It
D?
doesn't say. Unless I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Sec. Let me look here. Sorry, I'm jumping in. Your superiority dice is a D8. So I'm gonna. Do you want me to roll it, or do you want to roll the D8?
I can roll a D8.
Cool. Go ahead and
That
roll
I know how to do.
So that's, yeah, it's actually not under the parry maneuver. It's under your superiority dice tab on your special features. It's a little confusing. All right, so 2
special features.
plus your dexterity modifier, which I don't know offhand, is 2.
It is 2.
All right, so yeah, you reduce that 11 damage by 4, and so you only take 7. The second attack hits you for 7 damage. So you see as this giant claw comes in, you know, the creature thinks it has you pinned, but you're far too adept at battle for it. You continue using that twirling motion to kind of break free from the beak, and as the great claw comes in at your side, you manage to block it some of the blow with your axe. But some of the, you know, these claws so long, 6 inches long and definitely wide and sharp, they've managed to scratch you for that 7 damage.
So that's 19 total.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Owlbears hit hard. So, boom. It only sees one of you, so it doesn't have the presence of mind to pass it to anybody else. Brunor, what do you do?
Cool. So I hop off and I take everything out. Can I hit the side of the carriage? And I go, hey guys, we got trouble. And I run over and I'm gonna attack this fucking owlbear.
So that was great. Brunor, by doing that, you will actually give them the opportunity to act rather than having to spend their action to perceive. So that was well done. Boom, boom. You knock on, real quick. We got trouble. You hop off.
Trouble. Yeah.
Make it.
And
double.
then I run up, taking out Angelo, my beautiful gold baby, and I just come for that owlbear. I'm ready to slash that motherfucker.
So, so you haven't said you're donning your shield, so just remember you don't have your shield, but you do two-handed damage right now. So, do recall, thanks to Rules Explained, we know it does actually take you a bonus action to don your shield.
Sure does.
Yes. So yeah, no, I got my my double-handed, so it's my 1d10 plus 3. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Here we go.
And again, also a fighter, first fight as a 5th level fighter, you have 2 attacks.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm also, as I'm running up, I want to mark this guy. Or is that going to take one action? I'd rather just, attack him.
You could just, I'm trying to think, if you want to click your mark real quick, I just don't, I mean, your 2 attacks come with just your attack action. So you use your move to get to it, you use your attack action to attack, but you still have a bonus action, so... When you hit a creature with an attack, so you have to hit it first. So let's see if you hit it.
Okay, cool. I'm about to. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, you are.
Bang, bang.
Boom, 21. That's a hit. Coming down hot with the. You rolled a 1 on your damage dice, but it is magical and you are strong. So poof, you managed to stab in, right near the wound. You're no fool. You see Thorcus is exposed kind of a weakness to the side of this animal, and you come in. You feel Angirel moving again at the edge of your will. The great gleaming blade of the elves, the blade of the keeper with the green elven runes on the side, just cutting quickly through the wind. You feel you make heft, but again, such a big, sturdy creature. You slice it, but it is still certainly there. But you can mark it now, and you can attack it again.
Yep, so I'm going to mark it. I'm going to be like, you son of a bitch. And then I'm going to do it again.
Nice. Also a hit. 22. You feel it raise up again. You son of a bitch. You kind of bring it blade down and stab it into the side of this great, monstrous beast. It cries out as Angirel buries, halfway through the side of its body. It only stopping when it finally hits bone and stops your strength. You pull it back out. 8 damage. Some blood sprays out the side. This massive beast is bloodied.
Yeah.
Excellent. I want to hop away from. I want to like step a couple feet away from him so he can't attack me back.
All right. So
Well,
if
you
you
did put a
if you
marker
leave
though,
his
too,
threat
right?
range,
I did, yeah.
he will get an
Okay.
attack of opportunity on you. So if you
Oh,
go,
fuck.
you've entered his threat. So if you want to back up, you can move all around him without losing any of the. You only have, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You only have one space of move left. But if you want to back up out of his threat range, he will get a chance to sweep at you while you do it.
That's fine. Then I'll just chill right where I'm at.
You know, you kind of let Angerel fall down into your defensive two-handed stance,
I'm
the
ready,
protector
yeah.
fighter raging within. Who would you like to pass the initiative to?
I'm gonna pass it to Tina.
Tina, you hear the pound of Brunor on the inside as you, of course you can't just get away from this stupid place with this terrible day you've been having. There's trouble ahead. You kind of knock open the door to the side, the one that Brian didn't break, and pop out. What do you want to do?
I would like to channel divinity illusion and create a duplicate of myself.
All right,
And-
so yes,
yeah.
a sweet. You call upon your trickster imagery. This time, not hiding from the group. You know, those of you that can actually see Tina. You know, she steps out of the cart. You know, as she goes to walk out, another copy of her, like this glowing yellow copy of her, peels out first and lands on the ground in front of her. A perfect copy of her in every way, except for she is an illusion. Rial, your own illusionary, you know, your familiarity with illusion magics as an arcane trickster, you kind of see that, and that's a pretty amazing thing. Like, your magic can't do anything. You can create minor illusions, but to be able to completely replicate herself, her god must indeed be powerful. You see the duplicate
That's pretty
step out,
good.
Tina.
That's pretty good.
What would you like to do with your duplicate? I'm gonna do something kind of weird here.
Am I there? Yeah.
Yeah, let me get it all. I have you guys in the back of it, so I gotta move the hoopty real quick.
No worries.
There we
I
go.
would like to take Tuna. And I want her to go up and up to the owl bear and
Big tuna.
big tuna. And I can cast spells through her.
Yes.
So,
One
yeah.
of the coolest
Which is really
things
cool.
about it.
And I haven't had a chance to do it yet, so I want to do it. And so I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on
Nice.
this owl bear.
All right, so give me a sacred flame. You know, Rial, as you kind of lean your head out of from in between the horses, you see as this illusionary duplicate of Tina running on the ground. The only way you can tell it's not actually her is she's not leaving any impressions on the ground where she runs. You know, and so it's just this illusion that seems to be running forward. You're like, what could be the use of this? You see it runs right through the path of the owl bear, hugging along the back side of it. And then the duplicate begins channeling that yellow energy. You know, Tina, you standing next to the cart itself. Sorry, I moved it away there. You kind of like are moving your hand a little bit to call upon the energy, and you see your illusionary replicate as her hand burns. So, searing for DC 14 save. Let me get to my saving throw. Dex save, there it is. And Owlbear fails his dexterity save, taking a 10 damage. That's right, you guys leveled up, so your cantrips have a little extra punch now.
Damn, friends.
So yes, you see, and again, Rial, this, you know, specifically sticking out to you, you see that this illusion that she has created, it manifests the magical power of her god and smites him with the holy energy, the way you've seen Tina do before. And you see this great, you know, Brunor and Thorcus standing on the other side of this thing, you know, near where your wounds and your slashes and your stabs are. You see this great red hot light start glowing, poof, and a beam of holy energy just shoots through the side of the owlbear. It lets out a great cry and is in really bad shape, but it is still alive.
Oh.
Wow, Tina.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pass it to Divot.
Divot, you're sitting there looking outside the door as you know, you see your as you see Tina Smoothhand.
Yeah.
As you see Tina, that's all I said was Tina. As you see Tina Smoothhands summon this duplicate out of herself, she's standing by the side of the door of the cart. What do you do?
Okay. I sense that it's gonna take all 5 fingers. and I lean out of the window.
That's an odd thing to
Was
say.
it?
Right? I lean out of the window, and I see how fucked up this poor owl bear is. It's like one of those starving polar bears on an ice block in those Coca-Cola commercials. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Divot, you're reminded a little bit of the Medusa, a creature just so tortured and that you almost feel sympathy for it.
I feel for him, but he's crossed the line. So I like reach out and I cast Chill Touch, and I whisper, rest.
Nice. All
Requiescent
right, let me get that
touch.
chill touch. It could. You have the potential. Bork.
Winter is coming.
If there's one thing we know about Winter, Winter hates chill touch, the spell, as much as I do.
Oh,
There you go.
winter hates.
She's like, it should be a cold touch attack. Ruff!
Ooh.
I agree, Winter. I agree.
Boom! Rolling
Got him.
tough.
Roll it hot.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
Yes, a damage upgrade for all your cantrips now. You roll 2d8 instead of 1d8, and you rolled hot, my friend. Hot enough, indeed. So, Divot, you got him. What do? Obviously, you reach your hand out and start summoning the magic item. You say rest. Go ahead and describe how you put this thing to rest.
Yeah, I'm just like this poor bastard. And normally Chill Touch would be like that like crazy looking like bone hand, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like I have a little more control over it now.
Yeah, higher
And
level.
it's just like it's like a mother's wing just snuffing him out.
Yes, so in true fashion, a little beyond your
yeah.
own control, you see what you could only describe as the gentle hand of Martha, summoned just above this beast. And this great hand, although yes, pressing down and crushing it, almost seems to pet it as it puts the beast out of its misery.
Nice.
You see the
More
great beast
weight.
under the strain of this pressing but thoughtful hand, lets out a last final growl, and no longer does it have to suffer. You have successfully dispatched the owl bear.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nice job. Nice job, everyone.
Yeah.
Nice
Just
job.
feels sad.
Daddy got hit, though. I'm sorry, Papa got hit. I know who Daddy is.
Yeah.
Oh, let me do a little
Papa.
cure wounds on ya.
I mean, I can also do second wind or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. If
You
you don't want
good?
to waste that spell. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to take a little trophy off of the owl bear.
Absolutely,
Wait.
Divot. So yeah,
What's
we're
up,
out of
Bruno?
like the combat. Go ahead and walk over to it. What do you want to do with it? You know, you kind of, as you're walking, you see now, you hadn't seen this gruesome display before. You notice that the campfire next to you is full of just human guts and brain and blood and flesh. And you're just kind of like, dear God. And you look and you see the flayed men, you know, one of them half eaten by the owlbear, the other one in full display in front of you. You know, a pretty terrifying sight. You walk over to the owlbear. What do?
So I'm like, oh, what a terrible, terrible thing. Well, guess I'm gonna cut these claws off.
That's a great idea, Divot. We should honor the animal. I think I'm gonna pick some feathers off of the owlbear.
Absolutely,
Those
Tina. You
count
managed
as
to
owl
find some that
feathers?
haven't been damaged by battle. You know, some actual beautiful feathers when you get a chance to look at them. Perhaps in a different environment, it may have survived. But these long, golden, you know, almost owl-like, you know, with the long, wide ridges and rounded to the, rather than the sharp, you know, tips of like an eagle feather. They're beautiful, almost like a lion's eye agate stone. You know, it's got those like pools of brown and yellow and gold. Yes, and meanwhile, Divot, you know, again, you're all survivors. You've spent time on the road. Like it's not unnatural for you guys to start like, hey, maybe we should take some meat off of this, and maybe we should, you know, you did it to a human before, so it makes sense to take this advantage of a prey of the wilderness, and you all begin taking your various. Yes, Divot, you absolutely can take as many of those as you would like. You know, it would take you a little longer to get more than I would say 5 of the claws. It is a great big like bear mitt with these giant claws. You have to like pry them and cut them out.
Yeah, I just want to take. So if it takes a little bit longer, that's fine. I want 6
Okay. So yeah,
because
go
I
ahead.
want to be able to like make little gloves for them.
Totally.
Oh.
Yeah, pop
Oh,
those
shit.
into your inventory. You have 6 owlbear claws.
While he's doing that, can I investigate one of the other bodies and maybe even this thing where all the brains and hearts were? Like,
Yes,
I want to see if the owlbear did that.
Yes, give me an investigation check.
And I'm gonna collect like 20 feathers.
Can I go look at the guys who are not
Don't worry about
flayed?
Yeah, you can. You absolutely go ahead and give me an investigation check as well for just like what level of details you become familiar with. So yeah, Brunor, you walk over to the half-eaten flayed man, and there's no like real marks or anything on his body. You can assume that if he hadn't have died, he would have died from having his top half eaten by an owlbear. But the remaining bottom half of the flayed man is there, and you're looking around for signs of battle. You as a warrior, you're looking around like there should be more commotion on the dirt. You know, you guys have been in there for about a day and a half now, so the settled dust on the road has covered your previous movements around here pretty easily. But you're not seeing a great battle take place that would coincide with these wounds. But that's all you can really make out of it. Thoricus, you kind of walk over to the first guy here, and you kneel down and you touch his body. It's still warm. So unlike the flayed men, which are already strangely in a state of decay, this body is still warm and recently died. You see a great pool of blood just spilling out from before him. But there's so many different, it looks like death by 1,000 cuts. You see small slashes and teeth marks and grips and cuts. If you didn't know better, it would almost be as if this body was bled specifically, like every artery is cut. And this great massive pool of blood pools at the feet. And as you start kind of taking a look at this, and you feel that tingle again in the back of your mind.
Yeah, there it is.
You feel that creeping darkness from the Murkwood that you fought off so many times before building.
Yeah, I hate that.
You look at the blood on the ground of these men, and suddenly you look at your own hands, and it's like they're covered in this blood. And suddenly you're looking at it as if you've just killed these men. You look down, and all those 1,000 cuts that you saw are no longer 1,000 cuts, but savage, precise axe wounds at the throat and the chest. And you're looking, and your hands just start, the blood starts rolling up your arms, up to your elbows. You start looking around. You look forward in front of you, down this forest path. You see about 100 feet away this great, shadowy portal. So strong is the magic at the core of it that it's bending the trees toward it. You see it spinning. You look up in the clouds. You see Beckus Grumblehelm, the great and mighty, the proud, like the form of him when he was alive, appear in the sky for a moment and fade away. You look down, your hands still covered in blood. You look back up, and you see this swirling portal, and outlined in this spectral green and white light is the body and shape of your former mentor, Beckus Grumblehelm. This swirling vortex that seems to be growing by the moment behind him. As you see him, he seems to stop in his tracks and turn. You see him reach out with his hand, and he points at you. And we'll pick up there when we get back from intermission.
Oh my God.
Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, guys, we are going to take ourselves a 10-minute intermission. We're going to hydrate. Hydration check, if people haven't been taking care of that in chat. How about our crit sip? Yes. Whew. All right. Owlbears. Gotta kill them. All right, guys. Awesome stuff. We will see you, like I said, in about 10 minutes. We're going to use our short rest, take some hit dice, update our short rest powers. Gus is going to get an action surge back or two, and we will be back in 10 minutes. Stay around, check out the fan art, listen to Sandy's incredible music. We love you. See you in 10. Bugbears, guys. welcome back, buds. I fucking love this cup. It gives me advantage on my cottonmouth saves. Good pacing. There we go. All right, so we're going to jump back in. When last we left the Ferocious Five, they had just completed their beating of this natural owl bear that they encountered as they left the city gates of Buraka. Standing before them is the flayed corpses of several of the hunters from the north camp that they had seen previously, as well as a couple more regularly dead bodies. Warm dead bodies. And so, yes, you see the five kind of standing here, as they've just scavenged all of the all the usable parts of this owl bear. Cut some of the claws off. You see Divot took a little package for himself. So you guys are all standing around, looking. You see Thoricus is kind of staring down the forest path, and the glowing image of the outline of Beckus Grumblehelm pointing at you. And for a strange moment, Thoricus, you see this green and white outline gleaming with this arcane energy, and suddenly you see, tearing out from it, is another image of Beckus. Onyx Heart! To the portal! And you see the shadow or the gleaming form re-swallow. And it's just that one figure standing there, pointing at you. You see, as the clouded shadows begin building up around you, suddenly the visions of each of the other members of the five start coming to light before your eyes. You see nothing but a fog of shadow, and then in a moment, this small shadow dragon floating across the path. Floating to the side, Urgon, the Mad Mage. You saw him in the Temple of Era's duel last. Floating as this ethereal shadow. Behind him, somebody you've never seen before, a strange small halfling man with a crooked smile and evil eyes. And behind all of them, the glowing form of Beckus pointing at you. What do you do?
Well, first off, I don't like being pointed at. You might as well be spitting a coin through your fingers.
He's like
that. Don't do it. Yes, team. Fabulous, ferocious, that's what it is. Ferocious Five. Yeah, I have to see where this leads. I hope that you guys come with me, but if you don't, then I guess I'll have to go it alone. But I have to see what this is all about. I need to get closure on this and get these back of my mind things out of there.
I'm coming, Thoricus. But first,
yeah. Okay.
I have to do this. And then I cast Past Without Trace on the party.
Ooh, nice. Go ahead and cast it for me, Tina. I believe, so you get advantage on your stealth checks, but I believe you also, yes, for the duration, you get plus 10 to your dexterity stealth checks, and cannot be tracked except by magical means. And so, yes, you experience, as she starts calling upon that yellow energy that washes over you. Even you guys notice this time, this strange crackle in it, as it starts to wash. And you see Tina focus again, and the energy, this glowing yellow light washes over you.
I want to attempt to ensure our safe passage as best I can.
So yes, you all feel this warmth wash over you, as the spell you've experienced before. You look down in the ground, and as your feet are kind of indented in the mud, you feel as the ground kind of fills in under your footsteps, and you no longer leave tracks on the ground.
Is this path big enough for the wagon to the carriage thing to go through, or do we have to leave that outside?
Oh yeah, so if you look, it's not quite wide enough for the carriage itself. The carriage is pretty wide in total, and when it includes the wheels, probably about 15 feet wide. This little wooded area to the north of you, the gate seems about 10 feet wide. I mean, you could try to drive it through it if that's the way you wanted to go. But it does seem pretty well built. Even if you look at the details on it, there's lots of vines strapped around it to hold it strong, to hold something in or keep something out, you would think. But yeah, so
right.
the gap there is quite narrow and not wide enough for your cart.
Cool. Then I guess I wanna leave. Like we wanna leave the cart here, right? And then I'm gonna do a big old whistly whistle for Brian to come out.
You see, Brian pop out, and against the background of this, bleak and murderous area, the light and joyful vicious sight as Brian begins swiggling his butt, and he just kind of poops out the side of the door where he's, wiggled his way through before. You see he comes and he's running toward you, and you see him stop for a moment as he stands next to the fire full of, delicious morsels. His eyes turn. He looks back at you. You called. Returning to his master, you see Brian the crocodile run and settle at your feet. He looks up at you and kind of gestures, kindly to you, rubbing his long reptilian snout on your leg.
Excellent. I give him scritchies.
You give him scritchies right where he likes his scritchies, and his tail starts beating. Rather than sliding left and right, it taps on the ground, kicking up a small cloud of dust.
Okay. And then I think I want to just make sure the carriage is just out of the way, because I don't want it to just get just sitting in the doorway of the place. Just kind of move it to the side.
All right.
Just leave a note. Be like,
so in order to do that,
just go tie these things up.
In order to do that, you need to grab that horse board.
I know. I'm gonna walk over to that horse board. I'm gonna direct that horse board somewhere safe for it to be.
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you want, you could even just kind of push it right back inside, maybe just chill in the town for a little bit if you want to do that.
Right.
Yeah, I think I want to do that.
Perfect. So you see, the horse is kind of just once you have control of the horse board, everything moves so efficiently. I mean, it's one of the greatest of fantasy inventions is the horse board. And so, yes, using the magical powers of the horse board, you finesse 4 horses and a rickety hoopty cart to slide back and comfortably nestle in just behind the protected gates of the mercenary town of Buraka, a town where they like you guys, so you feel pretty safe leaving it there. The whole time as you walk around, Brian sliding right at your feet.
Excellent. So once we move him inside, I look down at Brian and I hop on him and I ride him back over to everybody else like a skateboard.
So boom, you and him have a little a thing you like to do. You'll step just in between the meat on his shoulder blades, and his the small rope that he has around his neck. He kind of does a little jump, and the rope pops up, and you grab it with your hand. It's kind of how you steer him as you ride him like a skateboard or a snowboard or whatever kind of board. A horse board.
Horse board.
Horse
Yes,
board.
my man. Going through with the horse board. So yes, you jump on and you feel him sliding around. It's been a little while since you've ridden your thick wiggly boy, and it feels good to have him beneath your feet once more. You slide over.
And as we get right up to the group, I'm gonna hang over real quick and snatch a piece of brain meat from the fire.
Little scoop-de-doop. All right, so
Yeah,
you're
little
riding
scoop,
by
yeah.
and you do a sick lean down where you're half
Yeah.
laying down, and you manage to scoop up some of the piled brain matter on this fly and maggot-ridden pile of grossness. You just take a nice scoop of that, and what would you like to do with it?
Once we get up to everybody, I'm gonna hop off of Brian. Once we reach everybody, because we still have to discuss what we're gonna do. I hop off and then I look at Brian and I toss him the piece.
Nice, yes. So as you guys kind of huddle up here, you reach back and drop it to the open and waiting mouth of Brian the crocodile, ever happy to receive a tasty treat. You see as the brain muck, kind of like a thick pink paste, like squished hot dogs, kind of just poops into his mouth, and he starts chewing it and just enjoying it so well.
Everything poopy.
I've eaten a lot of hot dogs, and not one of them has ever pooped in my mouth.
Then you haven't lived!
What kind of hot dogs are you eating?
Oh yeah, maybe you don't want to eat hot dogs with me. And now we know that.
Alright, gang. Alright, friends, what are we doing?
I vote not hot dog eating contest.
Excellent.
They not dog eating contest. Yes.
stealthily speed through the forest?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm going for the portal, right? Like, if that's what well, I'm gonna go for the portal.
All right, yeah, but can we not fuck with anything between here and the
That's
portal,
what I'm saying.
possibly?
So to kind of help you guys,
without
because it's like
praise.
Thoricus has seen this and you guys haven't. You know, as you guys gather and prepare for this, you know, you would kind of be like, well, maybe we should look before we figure out what we're gonna do. You look down, and each of you now keenly aware of the nightmarish specters of each other's vision. This is actually what you see. So I've placed you at the bottom. That doesn't mean anything for right now. But yes, you see the large, not quite as big as the, Brenna, or you may remember the real Shadow Dragon Exonius is this massive blight. But a 10-foot square, large, shadowy dragon kind of flying around, ethereal, crackling with energy from a far plane. And behind that, Urgon in his half-ghostial form, as well, also this kind of like illuminated by the same spectral energy, as it forms from the shadows of the clouds around you. You hear the laughter surrounding you as the forest itself seems to shake with this strange arcane energy. Again, as you feel all the energy of the wood bending down toward this portal that swirls behind these specters. You see him suddenly, you'll look at one of them and they'll shift shapes and they're just like this floating cloak of an image, and then they'll retake their form, and then they'll shift back into like a black cloud and shift back again into these various forms and shapes. So, what do you guys want to do?
Portal.
I'm like drawn in to the Murkwood for some reason, and I just kind of like start walking towards the portal.
My dude.
Like, not even meaning to. I'm just like...
All right, so yes, you guys see something completely unusual for the person who's often hiding behind you guys, taking pot shots and throwing sweet shatters. You all see as Divot kind of pushes Thoricus out of the way. And you see his eyes go into this like long, faraway look. And you see just kind of confidently pushes past you. And then Divot will jump into you. You begin stepping forward. This swirling maelstrom. The image of Beckus Grumblehelm before you doesn't really obscure your vision. You're almost looking through him. You see this swirling abyss, this call of nothingness that relates you back to that moment when you were frozen in the stone magic of the Medusa. You feel that terror, that lack of anything. No light, no God, no savior. You're just nothing. And it draws you forward. You take a step, you take another, you take a third. You see the shadowy dragon to your right swirls around you. You feel the wind blow your hair and your beard, but you continue on. You step forward. To your left, this small, strange halfling man with like a pirate cap and a crooked, evil smile. He has this long, black pipe sticking out of his mouth. You see he turns and looks at you as you take the last of your movement forward. You see you're standing in between the spectral image of Urgon and this strange halfling pirate-capped man with a corncob pipe. Just as you leave the actually no you don't. That's the end of your movement. So Divot, you have now moved. You have your action and your bonus action if you would like to use it. You now stand about a mere 10 feet away. You feel the portal. Your hair is actually flying forward, like everything is pulling, and especially something within you drawing you forward.
So I still have the advantages of Tenna's spell currently, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'd like to prepare Chill Touch on the offset that something breaks my concentration on this portal and feels like a threat.
All right, so Divot, you step forward. You're not active. You're not attacking anything. You just reach your hand out. And as you hold your hand forward and begin to prepare the casting of the spell, this strange twisted spine of ice starts spinning toward you from the portal, almost like the spell you're casting is being drawn from the portal itself. This vine of ice is just twisting toward your hand. Your turn is over. Who is next?
I see. Oh.
Do I pass it, or does somebody just go?
You pass it, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, obviously Tina.
There it is.
Yeah. And well, there it is.
Well, I see Divot. Wherever Divot goes right now, that's where I'm going. That's where I am interested in being. And as far as I'm concerned, we are still hurrying through the Murkwood, and that's what I'm operating under right now. So I stealth. I continue. I follow after.
All right, Tina. All your tokens are kind of weird and twisted, so I have to turn them. Sorry. Tina, you begin following suit. You know, you all kind of see Tina in a similar mode. Like, Brunor, you're probably the only one that understands what's happening right now. But you see, as Divot is walking into this potential nightmare scenario, Tina, the protector instinct, her sister instinct, kicks in, and she begins, not zoned out quite like Divot is, but clearly walking forward with purpose, unaffected by what's around her. You see as she walks and steps right behind Divot, Tina, you turn your head to the left, and you see the crooked, twisted face of your father, Shren Oldbuck. Not looking at you in the eyes or anything, just kind of almost as like this twisted old painting that's been summoned by this dark magic. And the old corncob pipe that you remember the stench of in your house, that anytime you smell a pipe being smoked in an inn, it drives you almost to nausea. You know, his twisted dark black teeth and that damned crooked smile that you can only picture him laughing as he twists and destroys and ruins people's lives for coin and reputation. You feel that hatred burning inside of you. The shadow dragon swirls around you much the same way as it did Divot. The shadow specter of Shren Oldbuck does not move toward you, nor does the grimacing, floating half-ghost, half-image of Urgon, the Archmagus, who now stand, on either side of you before you. Do you want to use your action or bonus action to do anything?
No. I just want to... Can I disguise myself, actually?
Can you what?
Can I disguise myself in any way?
Currently, you are in, sight of just about everything, so it wouldn't, everything would kind of know what you are.
Then no, I'm just going to stay put. And I'm going to pass it to Brenner.
All right, Brenner, you watch as two of your allies begin walking forward through these abominations, both of them standing near the bite and swoop and, as you know, mighty breath weapon of the great dragon that you saw destroying your kingdom when last you saw it.
Right. But I also noticed that nothing is happening. That, nothing is touching or hitting, and they aren't being damaged at all. It's flown around them, but when they don't focus on it, kind of like it, the clown, right? If you don't believe in it, then it doesn't affect you. So, but I look over to Rial and Thoricus standing next to me, and I go, I don't think that these things actually can physically hurt you. I think that it's all just there to scare you. So I'm gonna go now, and then I just start walking ahead.
All right. So yeah, you just start nonchalantly walking forward. So you're in heavy armor, so you have 25 feet of movement as well. 1, 2. Now, what do you want to do here? You're kind of at a strange impasse where, the path ahead of you is blocked by your allies. So do you want to attempt to go around them, or what do you want to do there?
Yeah, I want to go around them. I want to walk through the Aragon.
All right. So in order to do that, you would actually have to, because you can just not end your space there. So you go, that's 15. 20. So at 20 move, you are directly on Urgon. So you want to attempt to walk beyond him, is that correct?
Yes, I want to walk through him. I'm just gonna hold my breath.
Are you riding Brian right now? You are, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you
Yes.
see, you kind of kick in your heel into the back of Brian,
Yeah.
and I'll keep him off the map just for now, just because there's a lot of things, and I don't want to muddle the image. But his big thick tail starts slapping you through the dark brown mud of the Murkwood. As you slide through, you kind of like coast with your toes. You bend into his sides to make him curve around both Divot and Tina as you go through the space where Ergon is. Now, as you move out of that space and you leave the threat range of the Shadow Dragon, you see it swift up in the air and shoot this black energy at you.
No, you bitch.
Oh, crit!
Oh,
Oh, goodness. Crit hits work both ways, guys. All right, so Brunor,
Yeah.
do me a favor and make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. Oh, this crit hurts. All right, so you passed the Constitution saving throw. So this, if you had not, this damage would have permanently removed the damage from the top of your hit points until you take a long rest. So you would have had this many less. The life drain effect hits you for 20 damage. You see it generating an attack of opportunity by leaving its threat range. You had read the situation a little wrong, and they don't seem to attack you until you pass through their threat range. So yes, just as you stand before the shining, gleaming image of Beckus Grumblehelm, your nightmarish creature fittingly shoots this black beam and blasts you in the back for 20 points of necrotic damage.
Jesus.
I get like blasted up, and I just go, I think I was incorrect.
Oh.
Read that one wrong, guys, but I'm okay.
I'm alright.
All right, so Brunor, your turn is over. Well, no, you still have a bonus action, and if I'm not mistaken, an action. You didn't actually use an action. So if you want to use an action, you can. You have the spectral image of Ergon behind you. Beckus Grumblehelm's ghost is in front, or specter is in front of you. The shadow dragon is a little beyond you now. You moved away from it, and it's kind of flying up after it spit that at you. But you're in range of a couple guys if you were so inclined.
I just got my ass handed to me a little bit, and I'm now surrounded by them. So I think I'm gonna take my shield out.
Nice.
That's important.
You're like, ow! All right.
Okay, listen, fine. So I'm cool with that. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna take my shield out.
So you can take the defensive action where you brace with your shield. I believe it's +2 to AC.
I think you're right.
Yeah. +2 to AC. So yeah, you'll get +2 to AC and for this next round as well. So your shield gets you up to, I believe, a 20, and then because you have full plate armor, and then with the AC advantage, you would have a 22 AC. You kind of turtle yourself down.
Damn.
You guys do see Brunor get blasted by this dark magical energy. Divot, you're primarily unaffected, but Tina, you're not quite in the same trance that Divot is. You see as Brunor's just like, no, it's cool, guys, we'll be fine. Black gets blasted, and this scorching black magical energy has burned her back, even through her armor. And Brunor, if that is the end of your turn, who do you pass initiative to?
I'm gonna pass it to Thoricus.
All right, Thoricus, what do you do?
Oh man. Well, obviously, just trying to run by him is not gonna be a good decision.
Yeah, your battle master training. Seriously, you looked right at that and you were like, "Oh, I see what it is." You know what I mean? You're immediately like, "Oh, they had an attack. They saw an open flank and they took it." You're like, "Okay, so they're even though they didn't attack right on sight, they are active in this battle. These guys are trying to kill us."
Right. Yeah. Hostile. Okay. That's their demeanor. Okay. Well then, fuck that. I'm gonna go right after the dragon. Sneak up behind that sumbitch and go to town.
All right. Thoricus, as you feel the fury, in your hands, you're getting familiar with the grooves and the move of it. You feel it kind of pull itself up in front of you, and you're starting to think about how you can adjust, to use this weapon even maybe better than Lucille 1. Lucille the Fury actually, handles them corners a little nicer, and you start channeling the energy and rush forward. You see the shadow dragon. Ooh, you stretch Rial really big. You move forward 5 feet. Really, it's really close to you. It's just high enough that you can swing for it and get it with the heft of the axe if you just want to swing at it.
If I got one more space over, would that cause any kind of a flank from Tina being over there?
So it's kind of in the air. So you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't really, even if you got on the other side, you're still swinging up. So in this case, no, but usually sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to check.
Yeah. No, but we'll kind of keep you there. That way you did it effectively. You still have more movement after this if you want to use it.
Okay. Well, since it's such a short distance, I'm just gonna do little Stone Reaver action. It's gonna be the old tuck and roll, and then as I roll out of it, just bringing it from downtown again and jumping up and just kind of like the Shoryuken.
All right, yeah. Let's see that first attack. Let's see how it look. We know what we want it to look like, but how does it turn out?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh,
26 AC. Yeah, not a problem, bruh. You did. Let me see here. Nope, that's a 4. All right, so you see, as you guys have seen so many times before, Thoricus is like, I ain't doing this trance walk nonsense. You see him roll into a tactical roll, and as he comes out of it, he swings the axe up, which gives him a spinning momentum that you've seen him follow through with this new second attack that he seems to have mastered through the use of this new axe. Kind of a narrative explanation for your second attack.
Well, yeah, I just kind of want the heft of the weight of the axe to like draw me upwards into the sky, so that my second attack is a downward.
Boom! So you see, as the fury, 100 pounds pulling up with such force, it actually does manage to lift Thoricus in the air as he goes up and comes down for his second swing. Go ahead, Thoricus. 27! 16! Nice, 16 damage. Big boy damage. Thoricus, that's enough. You see this shadowy specter shoot this black tendril right into the back of Brunor, and you immediately tuck and roll, running up, shooting your axe in the air. You jump into the sky, you look down. What do you do?
Oh, well, I don't really have any magical powers or anything, but I guess I could yell really loud. So, yeah.
You feel as your weapon's namesake, the Fury, you get a little hit of that juice, and you reach up into the air, and your muscles bulge for a moment. You come down, and the axe just splits right through the specter, eviscerating it.
Oh, can I do like you remember in Monster Hunter when I do the hammer thing off the slide, and he just does like that?
Yes.
Thing. Can I come down like that and just kind of like shred that?
Yes. So you on your way down, you swing and your axe starts to blow the body away, and then you let that momentum, as you do on ground, carry you around, and you start this like spiral, like this vertical swinging spiral, and like a saw blade, you through the, you land all dope. The axe at your side. You still have some of your move left if you want to use it. You still have 20 feet.
Yeah. Can I run up to Divot and try and like snap him out of it?
5, 10. You could get to Divot, but it would be an action to try to shake him out of whatever he's in.
Ah, shit.
So you could go to either side of him if you so choose. I don't know which side you want to be on.
Yeah. Well, I know Urgon.
Yeah.
Because we've fought him before, so I don't even know who this other cat is.
True.
But he's also a halfling. In a pirate hat.
In a pirate hat. You look over for a moment. He's twirling a coin in his finger. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, God. Never mind.
And he's got a Cockney accent.
I'm going straight for that motherfucker. No, No, I would naturally just try to go defend against Urgon because we've already fought him, and so I know he's a dangerous mofo.
Danger.
So.
Danger.
Dangerous.
All right. Hey. All right. So yes, you plant yourself. Again, tactically positioning yourself that if this beast, this specter in front of you, were to attempt to make a move in either direction, you'd be able to counter it or provide some help. So you use the rest of your movement to brace yourself, kind of in between Urgon and Tina. You basically, that's the end of your round. If you want, who do you want to pass it to?
That would be my best friend. Come on, one of your best friend.
What? Thank you, best friend. I have a quick question before I get too far one way or the other.
Yes.
I know I need to retrieve the magic arrow.
You did.
Is that something because it's magical, like flips back?
Flip.
No. You had to retrieve it from the, but it's still a magical arrow. It didn't lose any of its magic. And while everybody was taking their stuff off the owlbear, you would have grabbed your magic arrow.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
There is you can get it enchanted to return and put a returning enchantment on it. So when you shoot it, it shows back up in your quiver. That'd be pretty cool.
Awesome. No, I didn't know it was already
Yeah.
retrieved, so thanks for doing that. We
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's a benefit of the Dow one. You're not going to leave your brand new +1 arrow in the side of the owlbear.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I won't be using that arrow, but I want to pop a shot off at the Urgon Spectre.
All right, you see, that face again. You hear the echoing laughter in your mind, in the back of your mind. And you, there he is again, yet once more standing before you as he has now so many times before. You feel the hatred curl into your fingertips as you squeeze the wood a little extra tight on your bow. Set up and aim. Go ahead and give me a shot.
Pop a shot.
Top shot.
A shot.
Man.
There we go.
14 AC, that's good enough. 5 damage,
Good
nice.
enough.
You shoot the 5. 5. That's like you guys. And so you shoot the arrow. You see it shoots right through the black cloudy energy, but it does leave some kind of weird, hole and takes a little bit of the essence with it. So it did damage it. But unfortunately, that half ghost, half goateed, twisted, dark-teethed face of Urgon still glaring at you menacingly, floating there. That is your action. Do you want to move or use a bonus action or your rogue cunning action? You could move twice, actually.
Right. I definitely want to move. I think I'm going to haunch up right behind Thorkus, or between Thorkus and Tina.
All right, so you move up. You've got plenty of move, and you just kind of jump and roll, pulling your bow back up and preparing for the next round of battle. You land there. Is there anything else you want to do?
No. Yeah, let's go ahead. Keep on moving on.
All right, you see Urgon as you approach. He's looking past you, and for a moment, you're like, this can't be Urgon. It's like he would use this opportunity to try to speak to me or get into my head. This is some twisted shadow vision. And you see as it just kind of mindlessly attacks the close. It's going to be, I'm going to roll a d6. 1, 2 will be Divot. 2, 3, 4 will be Tina. 5, 6 will be Thorkus. Divot. You see this twisted, half ghost, half Urgon, the Archmagus, turn and just this black whipping tendril forms out of the shadow and whips at you. 11 AC missing. You don't even react, but your hand slaps it away. Your eyes still transfixed. You're still feeling that pull from the portal. You just knock it away without even reacting. Next goes the Specter of Shren Oldbuck, who turns and attacks the nearest enemy as well. Again, that being Divot. You see another black tendril forms out of the smoke. 17 AC.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, so make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, please.
Yes.
Ooh. Oh my god. Oh no. All right, so Divot, you're just kind of like staring forward. You slap away one of these black whipped tendrils as another one forms out of the arm of Shren Oldbuck, a man you've never seen before that you can recall. This black tendril slaps you, and you feel as these little spiky tips stick into your skin. It starts drawing at your life force. And you feel, as you did when you were losing your life in the magical stone, as your life essence is drained away from you. You take 16 necrotic damage.
Fuck!
Your max hit points right now go down by 16 until you take a long rest.
Jesus.
So technically you're at full, but you have 16 less hit points. If you want to look on the glass half full scenario there. Unfortunately, yes, the mighty powerful life drain of these specters is quite a frightening thing. You see as these tendrils, you all witness as Divot, this like strange white ghostly energy is drawn out of him and into this shadowy cloud that resembles, this strange small halfling man, crook looking man. That gives, there is still, Shadow's done. Beckus, you see the shadow armored dwarf turn and look at you, Brunor. You've never seen this man before. He has 3 twisted, braided, long beard threads that hang down, and it has an immaculately strong chin. I mean, for a moment, like you're struck by the face of a leader. Like you could see this is the leader of men. But there's this dark, burning energy behind his eyes that implies something else may be steering the ship. And he turns and looks at you, and you see him grab his axe in a similar fashion that you see Thoricus fight. He brings it from downtown, throws it up in the air, jumps in the sky, grabbing the axe, almost mimicking Thoricus to a point, brings down his shadowy axe upon you, trying to strike you with his version of Life Drain.
Oh.
10 AC, that's a miss. So you, having just, you're a fighter. You watch other people in battle. You're like, I know what he just did. He's about to bring this down. And so you look up, and you're in your defensive stance anyway. You just raise your shield, brace for impact. You feel this pressure on the top of your shield. That's it. It's no damage or anything. As the black energy kind of trickles off your shield.
Ain't no thing.
All right, they're done. So that was a pretty brutal round, but they're gonna go ahead and pass it to the one they fear the least, which currently would be Divot. Go ahead, Divot.
So, my question, and I should have probably mentioned this when they attacked me, but wouldn't that attack have triggered that healing touch that I prepared?
Yes.
Or that chill touch?
Yes, the chill touch. You are absolutely right. It doesn't actually affect you. I don't think chill touch could kill any of these people, so feel free. We'll just do it now. You are right. As that life drain starts coming out of you, that channeled ice spine that's reaching out from the portal shatters, but then it summons quickly toward you, and you can direct it at whoever you will.
I guess just whichever one attacked me, because that's what would make the most sense.
That would be this strange halfling man with the corncob pipe and the pirate hat. And you're like, man, that guy's got great taste in hats.
Yeah, fuck that guy, but that hat is dope, and the chill touch.
16 AC is a hit. 12 damage is very nice. Yes, nice. You see, it is cold damage, so you do denote, as you have before, it doesn't look like the damage is fully effective. He may have some kind of resistances, but it does do damage to him. But yes, the ice damage, the spine blasts into him and he takes damage. And then it is now, that was at the end of their turn, it is now your turn and you have a full round still.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Oh man. Am I held in place by the thing that grabbed onto me at all?
You are not, no. Narratively, once it drew that life force from you, the little spines let go and you are free to move. Now again, just to, you're not brain dead. You did see that when Brennor left these things at threat range, they did attack it. So they're active participants in battle. They'll have attack of opportunities just like you guys would.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Show me.
Oh man. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna shatter somebody.
Ooh, somebody. All right, so shatter, if you want,
gonna
you
have
could
a bad
ping it
day.
about here, and it would not affect you guys, but would hit 2 of these specters. Is that where you want to place it?
Yeah, we'll
Right.
go for that.
Right there. What's nice is that bubble is the exact range that we're looking for there. So, yeah,
Alright,
you would have to
we'll
cast
do
it
it.
on top of this eviscerated body here, and I'm sure it
It's
might be
already
a little
dead.
disgusting, but that's absolutely a choice that you can make.
Gives a fuck.
Yeah, no, I pay that no mind.
Yeah, he's not getting any deader.
Divot, you feel that pulling energy once more, and you kind of start to channel it in your hands. You push the magical force of this pull. You turn it and bend it back toward your will, and you plant this magical pulse bomb on top of this body, and indeed, you see just as flesh and matter gets sprayed everywhere, just entrails and blood, and the remains of these corpses that were near the portal itself. You see the portal kind of eats the wave, and then straightens back out and continues spinning. But the 2 specters are eviscerated by this damage. It's thunder damage. I'm just gonna double check. I don't think they have resistance to thunder, and I want to be fair. They do. Okay. So, boom. They have a DC 16 constant. I know, right? Sorry. DC 16 con save. I'll just do both of them. They both fail. And so they'll take full damage and then half damage. So you do 18 thunder damage. You see as all this confetti of human pieces starts blowing out of the way. These rippling waves of booming thunder energy tear at the form of these black shadow specters. And you see as they each take some pretty decent damage. They don't bleed, so you don't really know how badly hurt they are. But based on how you saw Thoricus tear that other one up, you'd imagine that they're pretty beat up.
That was a dragon though too, so
Um,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
so that's
You guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
action, correct?
That is your action. That is correct.
All right. Can I use Bardic Inspiration as a bonus action, or is that an action?
Yep, that's
okay.
a bonus.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Who would you
All
like
right.
to inspire?
So I would like to shake the Raka staff at Thoricus to remind him how much of a badass he is.
You feel the battling the cold, chill Murk wind of the Murkwood. You feel that soft, warm breeze a little bit, right around your midsection where it feels real nice. And you feel it kind of come into you as you feel the inspiration of your friend Divot come at you, who doesn't move. You want to stay put where you are, Divot?
I definitely don't want to move out of range and get attacked, so I believe
That is
so.
true. That would suck.
That's smart.
Now,
I'm still kinda
just so you
tranced
know,
out.
I do want to just to clarify. You could take a step forward, and you'd still be in everything's threat range, but you wouldn't provoke an AOO. But you would be right in range of all 3 of these people.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that because that will put me a little bit closer to the portal.
All right, you see is that, after you use your bardic inspiration, you shake that stick. Thoricus, you're looking at him as the magical inspiration comes at you, and you see it looks like 2 sets of eyes. One set of eyes turns and looks at the portal, the other is still staring at you. And then the other set of eyes turns and looks at the portal. Divot, you feel the pulling energy drawing you forward. Who do you pass it to?
Can I pass it to Thoricus, or is he already gone?
Yeah, no, actually, this is top of initiative. You were at the top, so everybody's available right now.
Okay, yeah, definitely passing it to the Raka.
You feel that inspiration blowing in the good parts, and Thoricus, it's your turn. You stand before the twisted visage of the Archmagus Urgon. What would you like to do?
Give him a one-way ticket to Fucktown.
Yeah.
What is it? A handful of fuck? Is that how much fuck you're bringing on this one?
At least a handful.
Maybe a W. Fistful of fucks.
Fistful of fucks.
Boom.
Who knows?
Coming strong.
Yee.
All right, let's see that beautiful nude. Don't forget to use the +1 great axe. We'll rename her afterwards.
I think I already did.
Oh, cool. You dope.
Well, here she goes.
Did you click it? Is
I
it
did.
doing it? I've actually had some
There we
weird
go.
responsive things tonight. Yeah, we're a little slow.
Woo!
I mean,
Alright.
that looks okay.
13 and 26. Those both hit, actually. So, Lucille the Fury looking real nice in her first show, in her first real test. That's, man, 27 damage in total. Thoricus, what do you do to Ergon?
Yeah, so I just did like the spinning thing down, landed superhero landing axe out to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that into the dreidel of destruction and just start fucking, salad shooting this guy. Just remember the salad shooter?
Each spin of your axe, normally your feet would be kicking up dust, but you're leaving no tracks on the ground through the Tina's magic. You just spin on top of the earth. And, man, just make your way, as so have you done vertically, you now hath done horizontally. Spinning the other direction, you sever this cloud. You see as Ergon's face, not reacting to the pain, just dissipates into a nothingness. And he disappears.
Ooh.
You still have your move and a bonus action. You see standing before you, Brunor and Divot standing in front of Beckus Grumblehelm, the shape of your mentor that you just recently saw some kind of strange, phenomena as another form of him seemed to reach out and call to you. To your left still stands that strange halfling man with the hat that Divot just, for some reason, just loves that hat. It's a really nice hat. And the long corncob pipe. Where do you want to go?
Oh, well, I'm obviously gonna try and do what I can to make sure my buddy has that hat and that corncob pipe. So I'm gonna march right on over to the other side of Tina there and invoke that attack of opportunity.
Boom. Oh wait, actually, yeah. So you just kind of roll your way under, almost right past the feet of Tina. You so adept are you at moving around the battlefield. You grab and roll and tuck and place yourself, in a tactical advantage were anything to try to flee from you. Is there anything else you want to do, or would you like to pass the initiative?
Well, did I invoke an attack of opportunity?
You didn't, because you haven't left his threat range, so you just entered it.
Oh, okay, I thought I got one if I entered it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's
Good.
actually, that's a 5th edition, it's a little weird. In order to get an AOO, that's why Divot didn't get attacked. He walked into their threat range, but he never left it. And so it's not until you leave the threat range that they get the, so you're kind of positioning yourself tactically for battle at no cost to you. So you plant there, no attack, but if you were to move across and try to get on the other side of it, then, it would try to attack you if you left its threat range.
Right. You know what? This seems really interesting to me. So, Tina, baby, it's all you.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Look who's standing before you, Tina Smoothhands. The grimmest face that resembles your father, Shren Oldbuck, the face you haven't seen in so long. What would you like to do?
That is a good question. Oh.
I'm so glad I'm standing right here.
Thoricus, get out of the way.
Yeah, no, I'm just
This is
gonna listen from over
this
here.
is not about you anymore.
Saying about you.
Well, I'm going to step out. This pass without trace. I'm going to unleash
Yes.
spiritual weapon.
All right, so go ahead and cast. You summon your spiritual weapon, and as you recall previously, it's the armored gauntlet of your god Tharizdun is what it shows itself as when you call the spiritual image. And in a strange turn of magical energy, you see the gauntlet materialize, and then a great metal So your spiritual weapon is there, but it's giving you the finger.
Oh.
It still responds. It's still doing its thing, but just as a subtle reminder from the guy that gives you power, He's giving you just like one of these too, no thumb, just all middle finger, one of those.
Finger.
That's how you know they mean it.
Yeah, it's like.
Thinking about that sacrifice still.
All right, 17 AC, that hits. Oh, 11 damage, that is enough. So you see as the middle finger turns itself into a spear almost. Tina Smoothhands, what would you like to do to this now dead Spectre?
I just think of him sitting at the table smoking on his pipe day in, day out, and him asking me to go fetch him a mead. Fetch me a mead. So, I want to drown him in mead. I want his throat to swell up, and that'll be the last mead he'll ever drink.
You see you kind of like controlling your own cleric Pokemon. You swing your arm and you see these waves of yellow energy as you spear this gauntlet right into the, what would be the gut of this image of your father. And it sticks in, and then suddenly this yellow light starts welling up in the chest of the Spectre, and it starts glowing as it spills up like a frothy yellow mead. It fills the throat cavity, and you see as the eyes and ears and mouth and every orifice of the head, even the corncob pipe itself, overflows with this yellow, frothy magic mead as the shadow melts away before you. Fuck Shrin.
Can I pick up the hat and the...
It's gone. It was just a shadow.
All right.
But man, what a sweet hat that was, right, Divot?
Yeah.
Sorry, not the real.
Can I catch up to where Divot is?
You have a full move, so you can put yourself wherever you would like in this, arena here. Where, do you want to be behind him, next to him, in front of him?
Next to him.
Next to him.
Yeah.
Divot, you're zoned out. You don't even notice as Tina walks up next to you. Tina, you feel that protective instinct once more as you stand and see that, this great tactician, trained battle ghost dwarf standing in front of all of your friends. You still have a bonus action. No, yeah, because you used your spiritual weapon is a bonus action cast. No, it's action cast. Then you can control it as a bonus action. All right, so yeah, you're done then. If that's the end of your move, who would you like to pass it to?
Real.
All right.
Rial, you feel the call of battle once more. You see as Urgon is now gone. The only one that stands and remains is the image of this strange dwarf who seems to move with the same battle alacrity that your friend Thoricus Onyxheart does.
Absolutely. And best friend just took out the nightmare version of my worst fear, so I'm gonna pop a shot at his.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, I got you, brah.
Well, no, I really like him, but...
I know, this isn't him.
Right, exactly.
I got you. Get him out of here.
Tale as old as time.
Nice. Ooh, not quite enough. Great armor, 21 AC, that is a hit. You managed to land true with your 10 damage. It is not dead, however. You see it just blasts a hole straight. It would be a kill shot on a living creature. Right through where the heart would be. It just blows this hole. And this black, magic energy kind of spills out the back of it like blood. And you see the blood droplets that are coming out start sucking into this big swirling black portal. Suddenly the pull that Divot feels, you all as you get nearer start feeling it too. Your feet kind of, even though they don't impress in the mud, they start sliding on top of it a little bit, and you feel yourself being drawn into this portal, no matter what this shadow may be trying to stop you. Rial, you still have a move and a bonus action if you'd like to use it. If not, Tina and Brunor are still options, as is the Spectre.
Okay. I will go ahead and use some move just to get behind Tina and Divot.
Awesome. Not a problem. You quickly, very fast. You're probably the fastest of the five. That was fun to say too. So you position yourself behind either of them. Anything else you want to do, or you want to pass along the initiative, Buck?
I'll go ahead and pass it on. How about
right.
you, Brunor?
Excellent. I'm going to take my blade out, so I have my shield already. So I'm gonna do one-handed, and I'm gonna slishy slash at this Thoricus fiend.
All right, shield out. Switching to the one-handed fighting style that you trained with more often. As a protector fighter, this is right in line with you. Brian shifts and tries to add a little extra swing to your swing as he swings the back end of his body around. Go ahead, give me that one-handed attack. 14 AC is enough. 11 damage puts. That's it. But Brunor, what would you like to do to the shadow of Becca's Grumblehelm?
When I took out my sword and I felt the call of it, and Jarrell, it's all gold and beautiful, still has the slightest little bit of blood on it from the Medusa, as do I. I just took my blade out and I did like a backwards spin and I sliced upwards on that guy. And then just kind of watched the sword slash through the shadow, and it all kind of like mucked through it, but then still swiped right through.
Leaving a small spectral magic trail of green from the runes on the side of the blade. It slices through, and you see the shadow eviscerated. You, now standing closest to the portal, feel the strange drawing you in. You kind of try to step back, and you feel like something within you is pulling toward this swirling, massive portal before you. You look back, and you see Divot, his eyes on the portal, suddenly takes his hands, and he puts it on Brunor and Tina, pushing both of you back. And you see as Divot runs into a full sprint and jumps into this portal.
Oh, damn.
You see as the top half of his body, the hat, and his face go into the shadow. His shoulders begin rippling with this dark magic energy. That his body just slowly, as if he's jumping into a thick syrup, is consumed and drugged into the rest of the portal as his feet suck and draw forward. The four of you stand. You look at each other. Tina, you can't believe it. You reach your hand out. And that is where we're going to pick it up next week.
Fucking
Dude, that was
did
like
it.
30 minutes. That was not even fair.
That was 57 minutes or something like that. I promise. I don't want to stop. I would, seriously, oh man, we're going to do a nice,
3 more
like,
hours?
10-hour game sometime,
3 more
guys.
hours.
Oh, no, like 10. I'm telling you, like an afternoon, a case of Mountain Dews, and just like some big mega dungeon. Oh, it's the best.
I'm into
Anyway,
it. I'm into it.
Guys, let me turn off this music. Great game tonight, guys. I freaking love you, dudes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. All you guys in Twitch are seriously the best. We can't wait. It is just, oh God, you're just the freaking best. We have so much fun. We are trying to build this thing and in the biggest way that we can. And so we really thank you guys for just like helping us kind of boost our signal out there, checking us out on YouTube, subscribing there, following us here on Twitch, subscribing when you do, just helping us financially support trying to get this ship into the water. We seriously can't thank you enough, and we are so blessed to be able to do this fun thing and connect with something right now when we could all really use a nice, good time. I know it means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to the cast, and we just hope that it means a lot to you guys. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We love you madly. That is not a catchphrase. It is the fucking truth. So
It is.
To my ferocious, fantastic, fastidious five, I say we close this bad boy out the way we like to, and we go lighters up. Thanks for playing D&D with us, guys. We love you. See you next week. Oh.
Night, Sam.
Oh, night, Sam. Good night,
Night,
Sam.
Sam.
Night,
Oh, yeah. Ah, so what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.